So you want to learn to code today in 2026, and honestly, if you are, then I'm kind of jealous of you. If you do things correctly, learning to code today is so much faster and so much easier compared to when I did it. But sadly, most people don't understand this and they still use the old outdated playbook when it comes to trying to learn to code, because while coding has changed, so has the game of trying to learn it. Which is why if you watch a video like this from 3 years ago, it will lead you the completely wrong way. So in this video, as someone who has been a programmer for more than 5 years, I'm going to go over exactly how I would learn to code today if I was starting over from scratch in this moment. I will also tell you all the topics and concepts that you need to learn in order to succeed in the industry today, as well as tips to learn to code the right way so that you never forget it and you actually become the kind of developer that real companies want to hire today in 2026. But before I can tell you how to learn to code, we of course need to answer the elephant in the room, which is it still worth learning to code at all? I know that it's very easy to get trapped in the fear-mongering narrative that you read in the news about AI replacing programmers, but the data simply tells a completely different story. So over the past 3 to 4 years, AI has seen dramatic improvements. So if AI was replacing programming, we would expect that these dramatic improvements would lead to a similarly proportional reduction in software development job postings. But that is not what the data says. In fact, today as of filming this, software development job postings are up 15% from the year prior. And we can see that software development job postings are rising much faster than overall job postings in the world. Because as someone who has been a developer for 4+ years now, I can tell you that AI, while a very useful tool, it is not something that can create real valuable software. Because what does real valuable software really look like? Well, it looks like something that's not been built before, something new that solves a novel problem. And the way that these LLMs work, the way they're trained, is that they're very good at producing the average. They're really good at producing stuff that has been done before, which is why they're very impressive if you want to build a simple dashboard or some pet project. But when it comes to actually building real valuable software, this is not the kind of thing that can ever do that. But while AI has not replaced us and will not replace us, it has still changed the way that we code and also the way in which we learn, which takes us to the last and most important part of the video. But before I go into the exact steps on how to learn to code, there is a step 0, if you will, that you need to do before, which is your mindset. So what you need to do if you want to do this correctly is essentially fall in love with technology. You need to adopt the mindset that learning to code, learning about technology is the coolest thing in the world that you really actually want to learn. And I promise you that if you do this, all of the rest of the steps will fall into place on their own. Because the biggest thing that will stop you in this process is giving up. Because there are really 2 options here. It is either that you succeed after lots of trial and error, or that you give up. The reason I was able to learn the code was not because I'm super smart or something like that, is because I really just wanted to learn about technology. I was so interested to find out how Netflix works behind the scenes, how some lines of code on a computer can turn into a video like this one that you're able to watch on your computer. I was so interested in how the internet works behind the scenes, like how does all this work? And if you can approach this from the perspective of curiosity, this is what's going to keep you going when you reach that period of your learning, when you realize that this is actually really difficult and that is not going to be a walk in the park. So with that mindset in mind, your first step to actually learn to code is to choose your type of programming. So there's many different types of programming in the world. You can focus on web development, which deals with building websites and different web programs. You can choose mobile development, which deals with building, well, mobile apps, obviously. You're going to focus on security, and even within these, there's subfields. Within web development, for example, you're going to have backend development and front-end development. Maybe right now you don't know what any of this means, but essentially you would just want to think about, am I more interested in the web or mobile or AI or machine learning or something like that? And then you want to pick one field, because it's only through focus that you can really build real skill. And what's going to happen when you start learning is that you're going to be really excited in the beginning, and then you're going to realize that, damn, this is actually really difficult. This is actually going to take a lot of effort, and you're not going to be super excited all the time. And you're going to reach what's called the dip, which is discussed in the book The Dip, which is one of the best books that I've ever read, where essentially your motivation is going to be quite low. And the only way to get to the other side of that dip is to get good enough at programming that you can actually do something real with your skills. And the only way to get there is to be really focused on one narrow field so that eventually you can build the skills where you actually feel like, damn, I really actually know how to code. I can build real projects. Maybe you explore a couple of ones in the beginning, but eventually you want to pick one to focus on. Once you do that, you can move on to step 2, which is to do a basic course to get the foundations right. You might think that doing courses is useless today because you can just ask AI, but really in the beginning, it is still valuable to pick one beginner course. You don't have to pay for it. There are great paid options which are going to offer perhaps higher quality, but there are also really great free options. Even myself, I started with free options in the beginning. For example, if you're looking for web development, still the best course is probably the one that I did myself, which is the Odin Project, a completely free course that's going to teach you all the foundations of web development. If you want to learn Python, I have my own program. There's lots of great options on platforms like Coursera. It doesn't really even matter which one you do. Just pick one and go through it. It's going to teach you concepts like what is a programming language? What does programming mean? If you're learning about the web, you're going to learn the basics of what is the internet, what is the web, what is the front end, what is the back end. You're going to want to learn the 5 core foundations of programming, which are loops, control flow, variables, data types, as well as functions. At this stage and pretty much every stage of this process, don't focus so much on the syntax. So yes, you're going to learn the basics of actually writing code. Obviously, that is what we're doing. But what's less important, especially today in the age of AI, is the exact syntax of how do you write a for loop in Python and things like that. It's more the understanding of what are these concepts, how do they conceptually work. So after you've done that, you might think the next step is to go and do an intermediate course and then an advanced course or something like that. But that is not what I want you to do. What I want you to do next is to pick a project and try to build it. You might think at this stage that you're nowhere near good enough to actually build a project. That is what I thought as well at the time. But this is actually where 90% of the learning is going to happen, where you take something that you don't know how to do, and then you just figure out the steps of how to do it along the way. This is really what's changed today in the age of AI. With AI, it is so much easier to get started with building stuff that you don't really even know how to do yet. Because what you can do is you can tell the AI to build for you what you want to build, and you can essentially use it as your assistant to take you through this project. And at every stage, when there's some code that it writes that you don't understand, you ask it to explain it, or you go out there, you go on a bit of a side quest to essentially learn the concept that is being used. For example, if you're building a React application, obviously, first of all, you would learn a bit about what is React, how does it work, how do you initialize a project and things like that. But then rather than learning all the details of React, you would just go out there with AI and build a real React project. And then whenever you don't understand something, let's say it uses a use effect, you don't know what a use effect is, you can ask the AI to explain it to you, or you can go and then read about it in the React documentation. You can look at this like learning to ride a bike. When you learn to ride a bike, would you go and read a ton of books about the theory of the mechanics of the bike, or would you just learn a bit of the basics of how it works, which is basically just the fact that you need to pedal and hold your hands on the steering wheel, and then just go and try. And of course, at the beginning, you would fall. You would fall a lot of times, but it's through that experience that you would eventually learn to ride a bike and maneuver it and things like that. It is kind of the same with programming. It doesn't matter if you fail. It doesn't matter if you get errors. This is how you learn. Any error that you get with your code is not going to explode your computer. It's not going to put it on fire. So you want to get really comfortable with seeing errors, with having your code fail, and then essentially by using AI, going online and reading about things, going one step at a time and getting further with this project. And a lot of people might be wondering, how do you use AI in a way that you don't abuse it? Well, the mindset that you always want to have is that you're the engineer, the AI is your assistant. So what you always want to do is any code that is written by AI for you, you always understand all of it. Every single line in your project, especially in the beginning, you need to be able to explain, you need to understand exactly how it works. And whenever you don't, again, you ask it, or you go and figure out some concept that you don't understand by going online. And that is how you're going to learn so much faster than most people who just try to learn through theory of doing some courses that are not really applicable to anything real. However, you will not learn absolutely everything this way. After you build a project or two like this, you are still going to have to go out there and learn a couple of advanced concepts separately through reading articles, watching videos or something like that. I'm just going to give you a bit of a list here. This is not exhaustive, but these are some of the concepts that you will want to understand before you try to go for interviews or land a job or something like that. First is APIs. Then we have the difference between the front end and the back end. You're probably going to know this already if you build web projects. Then we have databases. Unless you've already used them for a project, you want to really understand how they work, different kinds of databases, relational, non-relational databases. Then we have security, and this is especially important because this is something that especially AI is not very good at. Then we have version control, so how to use GitHub, everything like that. And once you understand these, and depending on the type of programming you've chosen, there's going to be more concepts like this, but mostly I wouldn't worry about it too much. You're going to encounter a lot of these anyway when you build projects, and I would really just focus on building more and more and more projects, more complex every time, and then you're going to always encounter topics and concepts that you don't understand yet, and this is how you can kind of build up your repertoire, and this is also how you're going to learn to code in a way that you never forget it, because when you're always using it and you're using it to build something that you actually want to exist, that you actually want to build, you're going to be so excited about the process and so interested that you're going to want to know this stuff. And this is how actually our brains learn stuff in a way that we actually internalize it, that we actually can use it, rather than something that we just kind of memorize from a course or something like that. So that is exactly what I would do if I was starting over today. I wish you good luck in the process. This is the most amazing skill in the world. And whatever you do, don't give up and remain curious, and you're gonna do absolutely fine. With that, if you wanna see another video about this topic, you can watch this right here, and I will see you in the next video.